Once again, it's on. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show, and I'm your host, the one and only Captain85. How you doing? Hope that everybody's blessed to be in the land of the living. If not, I pray that you make it home to be with our ancestors. But nevertheless, how's everybody doing? Want everybody to hit that share button and invite some people over to the program today. Because we're going to be, as we usually do, talk about different topics. And most of all, I want to be started off with the logo here, WVDM, the logo for the radio station that I hope that everybody can go and download from. You heard me say from your Apple store right now. From the Apple store right now. I'm going to get all that paperwork done for the Google store soon. But nevertheless, I'm going to do my best to make sure that you keep being informed. And I hope that you just go ahead, if you got an Apple, and help support the radio station. It's important because it's a license to play music. And I play a lot of the local artists' music so they can get, so people can know they're there. We just can't just put it on Facebook and think, hey, Facebook is going to work that way. And right now it's very expensive to do all this stuff. I try not to ask for donations or money, but I'll figure that out later. When I try to go and do things, I get from the cities that only thing I'm trying to do is make money. I don't know nobody doing anything that ain't getting paid because it's against the law. They say I'm trying to do something to do money. Yeah, okay. But they on city council and they get about, $35,000 or $40,000. But how come they can get that low money? Because when they leave, they millionaires. You should be asking yourself, how did you become a millionaire getting $35,000 a year? How did you do that? Because if you can do that, I should be in the game with you. And then again, I guess that's why they don't want me in the game with them. But I work for the community. I work for the future generation, the young people. And I try to keep working to make sure that that's the purpose that I do, so that I'll have to put a lot of calls on them when they're trying to get their program off the ground with no help. So that's one of the reasons I try not to get involved. But there's other ways that we can raise the money. Right now, you see that I put a lot of stuff on Facebook, a lot of selectors, because that way, if you send hearts, make comments, that'll increase me too. And you buy some stars and send to me. It doesn't matter what amount you decide to send, as long as you send some, and that's the reason why I do what I do, to make sure that our young people can stay out of the violent situation of doing illegal stuff, going in a store, stealing. And we don't even tell them not to steal. And you say, well, I teach my kids not to take anything that don't belong to them. But you're not telling them the game. See, the game is you don't steal from no store. I don't care what store you go into. When you steal something, you going to jail for what the price is. You're not going to jail for the cost. See, everything has a markup, 200 to 300% markup. So let's say I bought this t-shirt for $8. I'm going to sell it to you for $40 or $50. When you get arrested, you're not getting charged for the $8. You're getting charged for $50. It's just sitting there on the shelf. You go in a grocery store, convenience store. Hey, I want that. I'm gonna go in the dollar store and spill me some candy or some socks or some. It's only $1 or $1.25 now. But when you go in there, you going to jail for petty larceny. They got the game rigged so that you go to the pipeline to prison. That's what you should be telling your kids. That's why I do my talk show. That's why I do The Real Adventures of Captain 85, my books, because I want them to know the real story. That's why it's called The Real Adventures of Captain 85. It ain't no game. I ain't no it's no make-believe in my books. And I'll be selling them real soon. Selling them real soon. It's a lot of paperwork with what I do to protect my brand, to protect what I do, because it's not just about me making money. I've spent thousands of dollars to develop everything I got on my own over the years. I paid people. If I hire an artist, he said, this is, if I want his services, that's what I got to pay him. I ain't arguing, because that's what I learned as I grew up, to get a job, to do anything. Nobody don't want to pay us. Hey, well, I'll give you do that for me, I'll give you $2. $2 to cut your grass. I spent $2 buying, I spent $2 getting gas to put in the lawnmower. Well, you can take it or leave it. See, this is why our young people are selling drugs, stealing, taking stuff from other people, because they don't know the value of what they're doing. We, as the adults, we, as the mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas of a generation that are going to prison and spending 10, 20, 30 years to try to live in a world that ain't respectful to us. You see what they're doing. They don't even want you to know about your own history. They don't want us to know about our own history. They're taking it down. So when we sit there and pretend that, hey, it's a bed of roses, it's not. We have to do more to protect our future generation. We have to protect them with all costs. We have to talk to them religiously. We have to make sure that they understand. I want to send a shout out to Carla Mitchell. Hampton is watching. Thank you for watching. If, just want to send a shout out to you just in case. But I work for my family, my friends, but most of all, I work for the community. Who asked you to? Nobody. So why you do it? Well, I think I was born to do it. I think my spirit led me this way. But you said you ain't making no money. I don't make the money that I spend. The money that I spend to do all the things I do is very expensive to build a brand. It's expensive to start a LLC. It takes money to start a nonprofit. Well, if you got a nonprofit, why ain't nobody donating to you? Well, that's a good question. The only answer I can say, I don't know. I've been working and doing my work ever since the 70s in the community. That's why you see now I put a lot of videos up there, talk about different tactics and things I've done. See, because I got my receipts of what I've done. I've been to school in New York, broadcasting school. I got what you call an FCC license. Somewhere I can't find it. I've always put stuff away to keep it safe so I can always have the receipts to show, but it's somewhere in one of my boxes. but I do put up the certificates in that I got when I graduated, because they didn't send me my diploma. I'm going to have to call New York and get a copy of it. But I did graduate. That's how I got on radio, because I had FCC license in 1989. 1989 was the last year that you wanted to be on radio that you didn't have to have a FCC license. And reason why, because of the music industry. You said, why is that? Well, see, when you went to broadcasting school, you had to learn how to articulate words. You had to speak properly. You had to use correct English. You had to know the dialect. You had to know how to speak eloquently if you wanted to be on radio. Hey, today's weather is 90 degrees. Make sure you take an umbrella and stay out of the heat today. We'll be right back right after this commercial break. It's a certain way you have to deliver. It's called delivering. You have to know how many words you can say in a minute or 30 seconds. All the things I have learned over the years from a child up to now. See, when I grew up, my dad was out of work for 7 years. You won't know, we didn't get food stamps or welfare back in those days. They didn't even want to give us, I think lunch was like 10 or 25 cents. They didn't give us free lunch. My mom had to get up, cook us an egg and put it between two pieces of bread. And sometimes she didn't even have the wax paper or the aluminum foil to put it in the bag. So what'd she do? She cut another bag to wrap the sandwich up in the bag. But then when I went to school on certain days, if she cooked me mackerel that come in a can with and put an egg in it, or egg sandwich, and the teacher would say, hey, put it over there by the window. Everybody sit the lunch by the window, over by the radiator. Wrong answer for me. Man, when it was hot or that heat was on, you ever put salmon or anything with fish in it or egg sandwich, and the heat hit it, it lights up the whole room. And the teacher said, what is that smell? What is that smell? I ain't want to say nothing. I played like I was asleep. Laid my head down. And then when she said, everybody, you eat your lunch, or you can go outside, or you can eat your lunch at the desk. I get my lunch, put it under my desk and piece it off, break it off and put it in my mouth like I was asleep. You know, it's so many things that we have to go through to get through. But mostly in where we stayed at, there were fruit trees. And we had a fig tree. We had mulberry trees. And I was eating fruit back then. You know, I really grew up 7 years eating a lot of fruit. My mom had a half an acre or acre of land on the property. Had the guy with the tractor come up and break the ground up so we can plant some vegetables, have a garden. And then my dad got a plow and he plowed the rows. We had 3 rows for butter beans. We had 4 rows of corn. We had squash, tomatoes, whatever we could plant. So vegetables and fruit is why I look the way I look today. And you see that everything you see on television talking about good health is telling you to eat fruit and vegetables. We ain't have a lot of meat. When we had meat is when my mother went to see her sister down in North Carolina. And my grandfather had a farm. They would go down there when it's time to kill hogs and pigs, and they, kill the hogs and pigs and cook, put them in the smokehouse and smoke them. Then my dad would go down there to give them so much meat, but we couldn't get but so much meat because at one time we had an ice box. It wasn't no refrigerators in the 50s. You had an ice box until the late 50s or early 60s. You had a refrigerator, but you couldn't keep us so much meat even then. But everybody didn't have a gas stove or electric stoves back then. You had what you call a wooden stove. You put wood on in the eyes, take the eyes off, put wood in it. While they're heating up and the fire get to going, you take the eye off and sit the pan up there and fry chicken or whatever you want to fry on the stove. Whatever you put in the oven, biscuits and stuff, you put it in the oven, cakes and pies, but it all came from using wood. So the young people today got it good. All they do is go and push a button, a microwave, or put it in an electric oven or a gas oven. But when I grew up 70-some years ago, it won't like that. I ain't got no problem telling you the story. I know my mother told me one time to always tell us to get our clothes ready before we go to bed. So when we get up in the morning, wash up, put deodorant on or whatever, and change underwear and clothes, and then put the clothes on. But one night I didn't do it. Fell asleep. Couldn't find my socks when it was time for me to get dressed. So my mom said, I'll teach you a lesson. And the lesson she taught me, she said, put these socks on. It was springtime, it was warm, and they were my sister's socks, Bobby socks, the long ones. I had long girl Bobby socks on, man. And I was crying, and my mom said, you can cry all you want to, but if you don't stop that crying, I'm going to give you something to cry for because you should have did what I told you to do. It was hard times. I listened to music to ease my troubling mind. But when you walk into school and everybody teasing you, you got on girl socks, you got on girl socks. It's a hurtful feeling. That's what you call bullying. I lived through it. I ain't had to fight nobody. I just kept my mouth closed. Like I always taught my sons and daughters, don't argue with nobody. See, arguing engages people to want to fight you. But they got friends that'll help them beat you up. That's what's going on today in our schools, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. I learned at a younger age. I used to exercise when I was 8 or 9. And I used to tell myself, what if I had to fight 10 or more people? Will I be able to win the battle? My spirit said, no, you won't. The only way you can win a battle, if you talk to your kids, is to tell them to keep their mouth closed. People won't fight you. They might hit you or punch you. But the end of the tale, they don't know what you're going to do to them. I love kids. I've been working in this area ever since I've been born, from 4 and 5 years old, taking care of my brothers and sisters and my nephews and nieces and my own kids, and talk to their kids. Some of them may not like what I say. They don't have a good, strong relationship, but they're still living. They still living. My kids used to tell me, can I walk to the store? I said, I'll take you. Now, why can't I walk to the store? Because I said, I'll take you. Because I don't have no problem you going to the store. I have a problem if somebody mess with you coming or going to the store. I know how I am about my children. I know how I am about your children. When I started managing clubs, it was the same way. If they had a funky attitude when I was working with Soul Ranger doing teen dances, they couldn't come into place unless they bought a note from their parents or parent. And if they were barred, they weren't allowed back. Same thing when I ran it for adults. Soul Ranger was the one who introduced me to the metal detector when we was doing teen dances. When I started managing clubs for adults, I instituted the metal detector for the adults. And people would say, man, I ain't coming to no club. You got to warn me. I said, that's why I have the metal detector for. I don't want you in here if I can't warn you. See, the thing is about going out today, nobody want to take responsibility. Clubs are responsible when they invite you to a place to have a good time, to enjoy. But I don't know what's on your mind. I don't know what's on the mind of the person that's with you. But to make everything safe, the closest possible, everybody goes through a metal detector. I've been doing it ever since I was at Club Royal Blue. Other places, I would hand search them or tell them to open their code. But when I open up Club Royal Blue and beyond, won't nobody doing it but us. But now everybody's doing it. But people don't know. Because, like I try to tell people, all money ain't good money. We're in business to make money, but some money is not good when you're dealing with the community. You have to first, and the first thing before you can make any money is to make sure your customers is safe. Ain't nothing about making money. Anybody can make money. I can go get me a monkey and get me a grinding organ and sit on the corner, put some sunshades on and look like I'm blind, and people will give me money. There's nothing to making money. It's what you choose to do to make the money. Nobody's life is more important than a $10 or $20 cover at the door, even if it's 50 or 100. Your life is more precious than silver and gold, more valuable than rubies and pearls. And people are going to talk to me about all I want to do is make money. I don't make money at anything I do. God allows the windows of heaven to open up and pour a blessing out on you. Count your blessings and where they come from. All money ain't good money. I work hard to make a living. Like I used to tell people, I worked for over 4 years for $1 an hour. Sometimes I wasn't allowed to work but 4 hours a day. Even if once I was allowed to work 8 hours a day, if I went out on the truck, because I was a helper, I went out on the truck to help the guy that's driving the truck, help take the cargo off, that we rode for 4 or 5 hours, and I wound up getting 12 to 15 hours. I did not get paid for the 5 hours. I got paid for the $8, but I done worked 13 hours. So please, don't put that all you want to do is make money. I've been successful in helping businesses make a lot of money. They gave me a salary. I made my salary. So please don't tell me about how to make money. You can't tell that monkey not to take that money if you give it to him. But what you fail to realize, the monkey ain't making the money. He just takes it. The man on the organ is getting paid. He's the one that's spending it. Oh, look at the monkey. Oh, I'm going to give you $1, sir. Oh, that's a nice monkey. And the monkey said, I ain't going to get a dime. I might get a banana, a couple of bananas a day. That's it. But the man on the organ stood out there, made maybe $100. Some have made more than that. I work because I love kids. I love my community. When I went to broadcasting school, I did not have to come back to Virginia, the 757, to get a job. I already had a job. I came down here to visit my kids. They called me because I left my number with the school. The school gave it to a radio station in Philly. They called me saying, hey, we listened to your audition tape and we interested in putting you on the radio. I said, well, I'm down in Virginia visiting my kids. They said, well, when you be back? I said, in a couple of days. Said, you got the number, write it down, give us a call, and we'll have you come over to the station. I'm not bragging about what I do. We're staying here in Virginia. I'm the only person, radio personality or club DJ. I think DJ B got arrested one time, but don't say I said it. Everybody always trying to put it, they try to have a scapegoat because we play music. We entertain the crowd. We don't make the crowd rowdy. We don't sell alcohol. We are the entertainers. I just tell the truth. See, people don't like me because they don't like to hear the truth. That's why my numbers on my talk show be low, because hey, you talk too much. You know, I just want to laugh. I just want to smile. You telling me stuff I don't want to worry about. If I start talking, people leave. Hello. How you doing, Carl? Welcome to the Best of the 757 talk show. I just put up your comment down below so that people can engage or make a comment if they like to. But what I try to get people to see and understand, together we stand, divided we fall. I have never run no club by myself. I never made any club successful by myself. I had a team of employees that work along with me. That's why you see me putting all these pictures up there now. I'm showing the receipt. I ain't never did nothing by myself. You might see me up here talking about myself, but I've never done anything by myself. What I do is I work to develop the formula. I'm like a scientist. Somebody has to develop a formula to get the right crowd, the right type of entertainment, the right flavor of music. If you listen to my radio show, WBDM, that's why I said download the logo and download the app on your phone. That way you can carry 24 hours a day and listen to WVDM. The app is free. It's on Apple products, electronics right now. It's just the paperwork that has to be filled out so that everything is properly for what countries that my app can be listened to in other cities and states are running by the regulations of the internet. Everything got rules and regulations. But I'm asking you to support by downloading the app. The app is free. I paid for it. I paid to have it developed. But a lot of things we look at, a lot of things we do, people pick and choose who they want to support. They do it all the time. I ain't got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is I'm going to take my time and do what I need to do to make sure the next generation are not going to prison. The next generation will have a chance to make a living. We support everybody else. Why can't you support me? I spend 50-some years DJing in a club. I got paid a salary. If I'm managing, my salary might have been a little bit better. But I'm working 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes 18 hours a day, and get 4 to 6 hours of sleep and get up and grind. It's not about me. When God put you on a mission, when God tell you, or your spirit tell you, because I ain't never seen God. Let me get that clear, how I look at things. What my spirit leads me to do, I follow. If it's within my realm of expertise, within my realm of spiritual knowledge. I've never been successful just doing something on my own. I know that God, I pray to God. I pray to his son, who is a God. I pray to Jesus because I'm in a sinful world. God don't talk to us. What part of that you don't understand? I don't know why preachers are so not want to tell you. They'll say, well, I spoke to God last night. No, you spoke to Jesus. You ain't spoke to God. Ain't no man on this planet spoke to God. When you speak to God, you ain't going to be here. That's called Judgment Day. And still you won't be speaking to him. You'll speak to his son. Because he says it in the book of Matthew. I who sit on the right side of the throne. He sits on the right side of the throne. No man cometh to the Father unless he cometh by me. For I will go to my Father on your behalf and ask him to forgive you for your sins. All you gotta do is read the book. It's in the book. Ain't nothing I made up. When I talk, people get mad. It's in the book. Read it. It's in Matthews. Get on your iPhone, your Google phone, your Android, whatever you got, and ask them to get you the chapter that it's in. Our kids are dying for the lack of knowledge. We are perishing because the enemy, when you get too much knowledge, you see what they're doing today. They are taking it away from your kids. Oh, they ain't gonna know. They don't need to know that. No, they don't need to know a black man did that. Nope. No, take it out. Take it out. Take it out of the school. We're not gonna play it. Not gonna play it. They don't need to know. You say, well, what kind of knowledge you talking about? Well, let me see, can I find one? I got someone up here somewhere. Let me see what this one said.
Anybody know who Prince Hall was? He was an abolitionist who joined the Massachusetts militia to fight for independence. And he wanted to join the local Freemasons, but Tick, remind me why he wasn't allowed in.
Because he was a colored man.
I was not surprised to learn from your bylaws that your order wouldn't have admitted Prince Hall either. But then I kept reading and I found there's a loophole. Men who are direct descendants of Titus are automatically members. In fact, they're not just any old members. They're what's called sons among sons. And as you all know, they can give orders to other regular old members. And seeing as I believe my nephew might just be the last blood heir of Titus Braithwaite,
I want everybody except Samuel to get up and get the fuck out.
Gentlemen, that's an order.
We know the truth now.
Oh, there you go. There you go. It's a lot of things you can't put on Facebook, because if you put it on Facebook and people see it, they take you down. Oh, you running something illegal. Well, I can put it in my show. They might ban me, but hey, it's on Facebook. Why don't you ban them? Or it's on TikTok. Ban them. They don't want you to know certain things. But we have to be educated enough to talk to our kids. Today also, I'm putting up on Facebook some videos of people that's been on my talk show when I was at WODU Studios at Old Dominion University. You will see this on Facebook. I sent it out today. So I'm explaining that these are the people that was on WODU Studios when I was at Old Dominion University several years ago. But I just wanted you to be aware that history is always, you got history. You got pictures of you went to school. You got pictures when you was in high school, middle school. That's history. You got pictures with your aunts and uncles. That's history. You don't know how many people might have crossed with your mother and father when they was young. That's history. That's a relationship. We have to stop hating ourselves and start working with ourselves and start working with our people so that we can show the young people if we work together or come together, we don't need violence. You don't need to be violent. This is the picture of the video I just showed you. These are the people that was on my show with my co-host, Venus Marshall, aka Mellow V. Hello, Mellow V. Let Mellow V know that I was talking about her today. She was my co-host at Old Dominion Studios and my guest. If you recognize them, tell them I said hello. We have to stop hating one another. And each one of these people worked in the community, doing things in the community, and still are. This young man right here just wrote a book, who was on my talk show. Used to raise school supplies in Portsmouth, gave them away. Was in prison for 30 years. President Obama pardoned him and about 4 or 5 other his friends. I mean, people that was in the prison where he was. They all was on my talk show back in the day. But he organized back to school supplies. I'm talking about Tony Jones, who has a book out now in Amazon. Check his Facebook page on Facebook. I think he's going to be doing some book signings in different locations. But don't forget to support Tony Jones. He's an author now. But like I said, we stand against hate. We don't stand against race, blacks, whites. We get along with everybody. Sisters don't want us to get along with everybody. They just want us to get along just to get along until they decide. And if you decide to go down to the Virginia Beach City Council today at 6 o'clock, because they're still trying to do away with the 10-1 system. This school is trying to do away with having black information in the Virginia Beach school system. So they got 2 meetings going on at the same time. So you cut down on the number of people I'll be at the meeting to speak against what they're saying. But at 5 o'clock, I won't be able to do the best of the 7-5, the Let's Get Praise music ministry. But what I will do is it'll be an automatic and go back to regular programming. And you will feel, if you're still listening from 5 until 6, it automatically puts some gospel tunes in there. What I do when I come on live is to introduce you to music that you might have listened to when you was a child, when you was a teen, or in high school or college. That's why I come on live. I don't have to come on live. I can record everything. But This is the problem that we face in what we are doing in our community. We don't communicate like we used to. Most of the radio stations now, they record it, they talk, and record it, just put it on. You think the people there, they're not. Some parts of the radio stations are live, and some is automated. I prefer to come and talk to people because I don't know what kind of day you're having. I don't know what kind of mood you might be in. I don't even know if someone even said hello to you when you came to work or when you're leaving. It's important to say good things and great things to people that we come in contact with. We could stop a lot of this violence. We could stop a lot of the nonsense that's going on in our schools and our community just by speaking life into people. That's why I try to play less negative music, but they got certain words that sound like the words that are negative to put it into the song. But I try to play less. There's too much music out there. All that old music sitting on the shelf. I've been playing blues all my life, singing blues all my life. Is that how you do that? Because I was in the choir. Don't you know all music came from gospel music? All music that you sing came from gospel. It wasn't blues first. It wasn't rock and roll first. It wasn't R&B. What do you think the R&B stand for? Rhythm and blues. Because there's a rhythm to it. Understand what you're listening to. We have our kids thinking love is sex. I got to go to bed with you, girl. And she gets pregnant. Ain't no love. Sex is for reproduction, to bring a life on this planet into existence. Yeah, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're in love. But it's too late when a young girl is now pregnant at 12, 13, 14, or 15, even as a woman. He loves me. Where is he at? Why ain't he here helping you with the kids? Well, we broke up. I got a new man. 4 or 5 months later, where he's at? He left. What, after you got pregnant? I've been in the same situation. I'm no different from no other man. But I did love the ladies that I wasn't married to that had got pregnant, but we didn't. I did not marry. And 2, I did marry. But I ain't walking away from my kids. I'm not doing that. I didn't have to pay child support until my daughter was 17 because I take care of all my kids. I gave them money. I gave their mothers money. I'm not mad because we're not together. Some things don't work out. That's why love, you try to work it as hard as you can. But the other person got to be a participant. They meet somebody else, you out. Most of the time, that's what happened with me. I met ladies when I was single that treated me like a king. I ain't never had a woman that treat me bad. But I'm brought up what my mother told me, not my dad. I was brought up in church. Some things you don't do. Some things you have to abstain from. I can hold your hand, might kiss you on the cheek, but all that getting between the sheets, oh, that's hard to do. I've talked to ladies 6 and 7 months. And the only thing I did is shake their hand. And as of today, those ladies won't even speak to me. Cared a lot about them. It hurt. Even when we engaged in sex, it hurt because I'm brought up that that's supposed to be sacred when you get married. And even then, when I was getting older, my mother would tell me, you have to get some protection to where if you decide to have sex. She told me. I'm no different from any other man. I'm no angel. But I don't want to hurt no woman. My mother and dad was together till they died. My mom would argue with my dad, and my dad just sit there in that chair and write numbers. I mean, he was always practicing, like he was in a classroom, writing stuff on the paper, adding it up, subtracting it, dividing it. That's all he did. My dad only went to the 2nd grade. My mom went to the 3rd grade. They were sharecroppers. They moved from North Carolina to Virginia. I'm proud of my mom and dad. Just like every child that's up here or have parents, you should be proud of them. The hand they be dealt is what you're being dealt now. I want to sit Amzivon Johnson. How you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Melody Man right there who's listening and watching. The Melody Man, Amzivon Johnson. He supported me at Picasso's. He went to school with my sons to Bayside, a couple of them. You know, he's a fine young man. As they say back in the old school days, he's a decent young man. Man that any lady should be proud to say he's my husband or my fiance. That's the way I'm brought up. That's how you talk about people. Respect. We sometimes forget that life is too short to be walking around here anger and arguing with people. We can do more and do better because it's not about me. It's about everyone on the planet. You're going to have maybe someday have kids or have grandkids, maybe both. What are you going to leave them? A lot of people in jail, they don't want to be there. I got locked up for telling the judge I drove to court the first time. He said, "You did what? You drove to court? Your license suspended." I said, "Oh, no, I got him reinstated last week." He said, "Well, when I suspend your license, you can't drive until I tell you to." Well, ain't nobody tell me that when I came to court. First time I'm hearing that. The police officer didn't tell me that when he gave me the ticket. DMV didn't tell me that. They said your license reinstated and you can drive. They ain't say you got to wait to go to court. I mean, what kind of game y'all playing? I didn't say that to him. I just told you what I said. He gave me 4 days in jail, suspended 2, and I stayed there 4. That's a hustle too, but that's a story for another day. Then I got locked up again, stopped in Virginia Beach on a rejection sticker, went to court. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if they can't get me on one thing, they get me on something else. But I ain't gonna stop fighting. The city council meetings today at 6:00. For those that want to see what the turnout be, I hope you be there. I'm gonna try to make it myself today. It's Tuesday. City council is 2:00 at the city council chamber. I will be there, late or never, but I will be there. I'm not going because I want to be seen. I'm going to let them hear my voice or to be counted. Why would you want to change the 10-1 system when the government, the state, said it's okay to change it because they don't like to see a lot of black people on city council. They don't want to do what needs to be done to keep the minority people out of the city business. I never understood why they go on a retreat. Do the city pay for them to go on a retreat? Just sit around the pools or eat dinner to discuss what they gonna do or what they ain't gonna do? Why don't you just stay here and have lunch brought into city council? You don't spend millions of dollars to have a building, but you got to go out of town. Well, wonder why is that? I have my suspicions. Well, we'll see what they do with that 10-1 system vote, because all I know is if they vote it out, you should be every black person, every minority business, every minority person. I don't give you Filipino, Puerto Rican, or Chinese. You should vote them all out that voted for it. That's the only way you're going to get change. You ain't getting no change. You keep putting the same people that passes something that you already say, this is what we want. The system is working. The system is working. And if it don't work, then we will come to you and say, hey, that's got to go too, because we'll be at the polls. We got to stop playing games with our young people's lives. Stop playing games with our young people's future. It ain't about me. But somebody got to stand up. Somebody got to raise their voice. I'll be there. I hope anybody that's listening to me will be there too. Down at City Hall in Virginia Beach. Or at the school board. I can't make both, but I'll make one. That's why they put them on the same day, so they can divide. See, the thing is, the Bible says, together we stand, but divided we fall. They don't want us to come together. If we come together, we can know what's going on with our kids. Kids are dying every single day. Who's getting rich? The Undertaker. He ain't burning them for free. Somebody got to do something. We still sitting around saying, hey, well, it ain't my child. No, it may not be your child, but it could be your child. Evil is always searching to devour and destroy. We have to stand up to the negative and evil doers. I love everybody. I don't hate white people. I didn't hire white people in the businesses that I run. I hired Filipinos. I've trained Puerto Ricans. I done it all. But the only thing they can say is, only thing you trying to do is make money. We are the only club that had the largest staff. Picasso's had the largest employees in the history of any nightclub. Because safety is the key to running in 14 years in Picasso's. I opened the club up for Barry Davis' mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Davis. But it wasn't for Barry. Barry's was her son. He said, you got to talk to my mom and dad. And that's what I did. And his dad said, if anything ever happened, I sell it or decide somebody buy it. I either make it so that you can own it, or the people that hire you to manage it for them. You always have a job. I never wanted to own a club. I'm an entertainer. I entertain people. I just want to make people happy. That's all I try to do. When you see a smile on a person's face, that's the most precious gift you can get. When somebody come every night to the week to see you, that's the most valuable thing that you can ever feel. Most of the time, people didn't know I didn't even get paid in some of these clubs. I was just playing. I didn't get paid. And if I did get paid, I'm working all night and I ain't getting no money. But a little bit, $50. Any DJ that worked for me in any club, when I'm negotiating my contract, I'm negotiating all my staff to get a raise when I come in. If that don't happen, then I ain't taking the management. Do I need the money? Yes. Yes. I get paid good, but it's not about me. It's about every person that come through that door, that sacrifice, stand away from home till 3 o'clock in the morning, leave at 8 o'clock. They're away from their kids. And you're going to tell me you only want to pay them $2.50 or $5 an hour? One thing I can state for Barry Davis, maybe y'all don't, some of them might not like him. Some of y'all may not even know him. But when I went to work for him to manage the Club Royal Blue, every waitress in there made $10 an hour. And that was back in the 80s. So for you that think you know and don't know, or say, why are you working for the white man? I'm not working for the white man. I'm working for the black man. I'm the one that's negotiating the contracts. And when I don't play, it's not because I can't play at a club. It's because I feel that my customers got to be safe. Got to be safe when they leave the same way they came. So when I'm talking about a 50-year reunion party, the average age is going to be over 30. And you're buying your tickets in advance because no tickets will be sold at the door. And if you don't come correct, when you get there, we'll give you a refund. I keep trying to tell people it ain't about the money. I need money to do the work in the community. I need the money to do the work in the community. I'm sitting home. I don't have to go out and I live off. I set my lifestyle to what I can afford. That's why that's why I don't eat but fruit and vegetables. That's why I don't eat fruit and vegetables. You can't live off what I get being disabled. You can't live off. But God sustains me. Don't you see how good I'm looking now? Don't you see I'm looking good? Don't you see I can see now? I couldn't see at one time for almost 2 years. Everything was bleared, but I didn't want to give up. But I'm going to end with that. Join me Thursday for GA for Justice. Until then, remember to love yourself and put God first. Everything else is going to fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you. It's what you think about yourself. Remember to love yourself. Until Thursday, GA for Justice at 12 and her guest. This has been the best of the 757 Community Talk.